You could say college baseball's popularity is a mixture of youthful enthusiasm combined with a skill level bordering on big league. But its appeal seems to run a little deeper than that. The college game occupies a special place in the baseball world, an intersection where the connection created between players, coaches, and a passionate fan base is rooted in tradition, love of school, and a bond that lasts a lifetime.
Nothing is going to take the place of the people that I've had come through this program that come back here with their children and in some cases grandchildren. But it's fun for me to see guys that I haven't seen in a while and hear them talk about their memories here at Florida State.
I was really happy for the players and the staff and the fans, and it's been a long time coming. There's been so much hard work, even before we got to Florida 10 years ago, and there's so many people that have been a part of this great tradition at Florida.
Coach Kingston set the foundation for where this program wanted to be. That was one of he didn't have to sell me on USF when he interviewed me, but one of his selling points was this is a sleeping giant.
The Tampa on your shirt represents pride and tradition here, and you're expected to win. Nobody remembers when we were a runner-up.
We wanted to win at Florida State, but we wanted to win for Mike Martin. That's what he's created. His passion, his desire, his intensity, you fed off that and you wanted to win for him.
Really, whenever I think of Florida State baseball history, it's Mike Martin, that's all that there has been for the most part. And along with that is all the big names that have come out of here and all the successful seasons. And it's just incredible what you think of whenever you think of the history.
Number 11, that's all that matters. Everybody will fight for him. The guys that played for him, the guys that worked for him will do everything for him. And that's what it's all about, number 11.
It is a relationship that has lasted so long and been so successful, it's virtually impossible to hear the words Florida State University baseball without thinking of Mike Martin. Since first stepping foot on campus as a student athlete in 1965, the man known simply as 11 has built one of the greatest college baseball programs of all time. Upon taking over as head coach in 1980, the Noles win at least 50 games a year for 12 straight seasons. Among his favorites from that era is also the first team he takes to the College World Series.
You jump to 1986, we had a very good baseball team. We had Mike Lowen and Richie Lewis, both ended up pitching in the major leagues. Very similar, loose guys. They loved to compete. They loved to be on that mound with the game on the line. We played for the national championship that year and got beat by Jerry Kendall and the University of Arizona.
Early to mid-90s, we were pitchers U. We could really, really pitch. That's the Paul Wilson, Jonathan Johnsons. We had just a ton of guys, David Yoakum, a bunch of first-rounders. Then I went on to play pro ball, and then when I came back, we were fortunate. The late 90s had the Marshall McDougalls, Matt Diaz. We could really, mash it. And we went to the series 98, 99, 2000.
The 99 team caps off the decade with a 57-win season and gives Martin his second World Series final appearance, a heartbreaking loss to arch rival Miami.
They had a very strong team, a lot of big names, a lot of players that went on to play professional baseball. And it was just, one of those knockdown, drag out, RBI back and forth. They ended up winning 6-5.
If you're gonna get in the 2000s and not mention Buster Posey, there's something wrong with you. I never had a catcher that was a closer also. It didn't matter. All he wanted to do was win, and he helped get us to the College World Series in 2008.
08 was Buster Posey. He turned out all right. He was an incredibly good teammate. That's what I love to tell people. Him and James Ramsey, those guys, it was easy to be a coach after they left because they handed it down. Fellas, this is how you do it. This is how you work. This is how you train. This is how you treat people.
As Martin charges toward his fifth decade at the helm in Tallahassee, He's about to become the winningest head coach in college baseball history. Of course, that elusive national championship would be the crowning achievement to his Hall of Fame career, something he admits still drives him even now.
Do I want it bad? You doggone right I want it bad. Working right now to try to get to Omaha and win it. But nothing is going to take the place of the people that I've had come through this program that come back here with their children and in some cases grandchildren. But it's fun for me to see guys that I haven't seen in a while and hear them talk about their memories here at Florida State.
Nobody wants it more than he does or we do, or this program does. But that's not what he's about. He's a molder of men, and that's what he takes pride in. And seeing those guys come back football weekends or for a baseball weekend, and he was an iffy student, a little bit of a wild child, or now he comes back with his family. He's got a good job, and that's what that's that proud grandpa in him, and that's what he's most into.
Every kid that walks in that locker room, they want to be the team that won it for him. You got to be lucky out there. You can have the best ball club in the world. You got to have one hit one off the end of the bat and get some luck, and that has to happen. Maybe the ball hasn't bounced Mike Martin's way yet, but maybe 2018 could be the year.
The University of Florida reaches the pinnacle in 2017, bringing home the program's first ever College World Series title, a championship over 100 years in the making. Through its early years, the program struggles through some turbulent times. Major global and domestic events, like 2 world wars and the Great Depression, understandably take precedent. But in 1948, Dave Fuller takes over as head coach, and the modern era of Gator baseball begins.
Coach Fuller not only had all those years, just under 30 years coaching baseball, but he was also a football coach. He was doing double duty. That's unheard of in today's world. So what he was able to accomplish with his time torn between football coaching and baseball coaching is amazing.
Fuller achieves a number of firsts during his 28-year head coaching career, including leading the Gators to their first SEC title and NCAA tournament berth. The next significant step for Florida baseball comes when Jay Bergman is named head coach.
When he was the assistant to Coach Fuller, he knew he was taking over in '76. He started recruiting JUCO guys. And back then, if you talk to anyone in the country that knows college baseball, junior college baseball in the state of Florida was as good as any baseball in the country. And I'm talking 4-year schools as well. In 1977, my senior year, we really took off, made it to the regionals, lost to Paul Molitor's Minnesota team up in Minnesota back when there were no super regionals, and we had to beat Minnesota. We were the runner-up. They went to the College World Series. We were second. But from that point on, it really took off.
Head coach Joe Arnold continues the program's evolution when he takes over in 1984, and 4 years later, gets the Gators to their first ever College World Series in Omaha.
He had some really, great players. John Burke, who went to the big leagues. Mark Valdez, first-round pick of the Marlins. He actually was a guy that actually brought David Eckstein. It was basically a walk-on, but he made the club in the Joe Arnold era. Josh Fogg, another great. There's so many good ones, but Joe Arnold really got the Gators to where they became a big force, a dominant force in the very heralded Southeastern Conference.
The success continues in Gainesville under Andy Lopez from 1995 to 2000. Pat McMahon's 6-year run peaks in 2005 when the Gators make their first ever appearance in a College World Series final, where they fall to Texas. McMahon's replacement is a young first-time head coach who doesn't take long to prove he's up to the task. Starting with his first year in 2008, Kevin O'Sullivan's program has become a model of consistency, making 10 straight NCAA tournaments to go along with 6 trips to Omaha.
The recruiting part is probably the most important piece of having success, and then obviously you've got to coach them up and have some continuity like we have. And we've got a great state to recruit from. We've got tremendous facilities. We've got tremendous support from the community and our fans, and we've just been able to build upon that each year.
What's important now means win. That spells out win. So the everyday, day-to-day, get better, every day that ends in Y. That's our assault.
After making it to the College World Series 2 years in a row, expectations are running high heading into 2017. But the regular season is anything but smooth sailing.
It was just a different type of year where we didn't blow everyone out. It was kind of really close. We lost games early, we lost series early, but I mean, we all knew that at the end of the year is really what mattered.
After our 0-3 start in the SEC, we had a big turnaround, because getting swept doesn't really happen a lot here. So that was kind of an eye-opener for us, and I feel like after that, it kind of set the tone for the rest of the season that, what we expected from ourselves.
The Gators go on to win the SEC East, but the regional proves to be just as challenging as the regular season, including an extra innings affair with USF.
We had a bunch of close games, and we had the walk-off win against USF. So I feel like maybe that game kind of propelled us into Super Regionals, where we played a really good Wake Forest team. So that was a big battle, and just scrapping out with them, I think, prepared us for Omaha.
The only loss at the World Series is to TCU, but with Alex Faedo getting the start in the rematch, the Gators get the win and a spot in the championship finals.
We knew how good TCU was, and we just had no choice but to throw Alex. And obviously we had the luxury of Brady starting game 1 against LSU, and then we had Tyler Dyson just came out of nowhere. He had the great outing against Wake Forest the week prior, and then obviously pitched the final game out in Omaha against LSU.
Florida sweeps the Tigers to win the school's first ever baseball national championship.
We always thought, I think especially my class, thought we would win one. So every day from freshman year, once we all got to school, we always knew that's what we were putting our work and all our effort to. So it was kind of a relief because we knew the talent that we had the last couple of years there. We probably should have, talent-wise, won all of them, but there was just something different about this team that actually did it.
I was really happy for the players and the staff and the fans, and it's been a long time coming. There's been so much hard work even before we got to Florida 10 years ago, and there's so many people that have been a part of this great tradition at Florida.
The University of South Florida baseball program has always had the potential for big things. So when Mark Kingston and his new coaching staff take over in the summer of 2014, the first order of business is tapping into the deep pool of local talent.
We spent 2 months recruiting. We ended up bringing in a top 10 class in the country. And then when the fall got here, we were pleasantly surprised with the talent that was here that the previous coaching staff had brought into the program.
We knew that we had some talented guys, especially on the mound, Jimmy Herget, Casey Mulholland, very experienced guys, Tommy Peterson. And then we just had some guys on the offensive side that had really big years. Kyle Teeves, our starting shortstop, freshman Kevin Merrill came in and played right away. And then it just seemed like everybody had a big hit at some point in the year offensively. It wasn't just specifically one guy who carried us. It was a real team effort that I think that was the difference for us that year.
That first season is getting everybody to buy into the culture. It's setting the foundation, the expectations, the work ethic that it takes to be successful. I think we did a really good job of that in 2015. We went to the regional for the first time in 13 years that year. In 2016 is the year we brought in that first class, which had about 15, 16 players in it, mostly freshmen. A lot of the old guys from the 2015 season had moved on, so we were very young. We were also unfortunate that we had 5 pitchers that came in that year that had Tommy John, so it really hurt us on the mound. So we were down 5 pitchers on the mound with a bunch of freshmen playing every day. It was a struggle, but it was also a real good learning opportunity. It also gave those freshmen experience.
First year we had about 7 or 8 freshmen starting out there, so it was a little tough. We really didn't know what to expect coming in, but I think that at the end of the day, it helped us out a lot and helped us mature more as players.
After the injury-marred 2016 season, the Bulls are confident they can bounce back, and the start of 2017 gives them reason to believe.
Definitely the Florida State game was our turning point. and definitely our wake-up call that we were legit. So I think going into a top 5 school and beating them in their home field was a big step for us.
One that takes them back to the school's second NCAA tournament bid in 3 years. That's where the Bulls get to face off with eventual national champion Florida.
We went toe-to-toe with, I think Alex Faida was like a top 15 pick overall. We had him on the ropes, and credit to him, and the reason why he's such a high pick, we just couldn't get that big hit when we needed to. We took him to extra innings, and we had plenty of opportunities to knock them off, but that's a credit to just how good they were.
They won the national championship, so that just gives us that confidence that if they can do it, we can do it. We were right there with them right until the end, and they came out on top, but this year it might be a different story.
Coach Kingston has moved on to South Carolina, giving Coach Mole an opportunity to continue building the Bulls into a top-tier program.
I was with Coach Kingston for almost 16 years as a player/coach, and I was very fortunate to keep most of our staff intact. So the ideas and the beliefs that Coach Kingston's instilled in me over the past decade or so it's rubbed off on the guys that are still here in this program.
Coach Kingston set the foundation for where this program wanted to be. He didn't have to sell me on USF when he interviewed me, but one of his selling points was this is a sleeping giant.
Over the last 26 years, University of Tampa baseball has become Division II's most dominant program. During that span, the Spartans have made 14 trips to the College World Series and have won it all 7 times. Among the things that have created this championship culture at UT is the belief that the past guarantees nothing, and bringing home the ultimate prize is the only measure of success.
When we show up here, it's instilled from the beginning, whether it's with our head coach out on the field or with our strength coach. We all have this buy-in that, if our goal here is a championship every year, and it takes every one of us.
That championship or bust mentality gets its start in 1992, when UT breaks through for its first national title, something head coach Joe Urso, then the Spartans' second baseman, remembers fondly.
To be part of that first one, it really got things rolling, and then the expectations just became, higher and for more championships. And obviously, I was gone the following year, but then they go back to back, in '93.
The man behind those back-to-back titles, head coach Lalo Prado, departs after the '95 season. His replacement, Tampa native and Spartan alum Terry Rupp, doesn't miss a beat. Starting in '96, UT goes to 3 straight College World Series, a run that ends with the school's 3rd national championship in '98. When Coach Rupp moves on to the University of Maryland, yet another Tampa native and former Spartan player gets the call to take over the program. Joe Urso's first 5 seasons as head coach are highlighted by 2 trips to the College World Series, including a second-place finish in 2003.
Not winning and being runner-up was really tough, and you start to realize that it's not easy. Winning a championship is not easy, and although we've made it look like that here with the 7 national championships, that's when I realized, man, this is a grind, and to get my name up there, with the coaching greats of UT, we're gonna have to get over the hump and win one.
And the next time the Spartans get the chance to bring home another title in 2006, they don't let it slip through their fingers.
I was one of the few freshmen on that team that year, and they took me in like if I was here the year before, and we all bonded together. We just hang out nonstop, and we started off rough. The first 2 weekends, I think we were 2-3, and we only ended up losing 6 games, and come back in that final game to tie it in the 9th and win it in the 10th was great. Coach actually didn't let us talk about being able to go back-to-back all year. It was frowned upon. He didn't want anybody talking about it. Once we got to the World Series, it was like, this is our goal. This is what we're here to do. And you could definitely tell we were down in that final game at one point in time, and nobody in that dugout panicked.
A guy named Jonathan Holt, he closed all year for us, and then in the championship game, we told him you're starting. And the guy goes out and throws a complete game and for the victory for our second national championship. So it was pretty special.
In 2013, the Spartans ride pitchers John Keller, a transfer from Nebraska, and a former walk-on, Mike Adams, to their 6th national championship. After a record-setting 47-2 regular season, the 2014 team loses in the semifinals, a defeat it quickly avenges the next year when UT wins its 7th title.
Those guys were really upset. It hurt them, and it could have very easily folded. Next year, those guys, Gio Alfonso, Nick Tindo, these guys came back for their senior year and made it a point to say, you know what, we're getting back here, we're gonna win this time.
This is the legacy of the University of Tampa, an expectation that everyone who puts on the uniform will do his part to bring home the next championship.
Pressure, yes and no. It's good pressure, I would say. But you can definitely tell when we play another team, like how they come out energized and stuff like that. Like they really want to beat us. So like it brings the best out of us and them at the same time.
The Tampa on your shirt represents pride and tradition here, and you're expected to win. Nobody remembers when we were a runner-up.
For every one of these programs, and many more across Florida, raising that trophy after the final game is the ultimate goal, but it's far from college baseball's only reward. For young men on the doorstep of adulthood, the game not only gives them a chance to keep pursuing their dreams, it's an opportunity to form a special connection with their teammates, coaches, and school that transcends the game.
Having those guys there for you to have that relationship for even past baseball is something that not many people get unless they go and play in college, I think. And to be here at Florida State on the stage under Mike Martin, I mean, you just get so many different elements that is once in a lifetime kind of opportunity.
Even if I had to do it over again, you know, I think college is definitely the way to go. I think, you know, you just build a bond that you'll never forget with all these guys, and you go back, I go back and visit, and you know, it's a blast.
It's the most fun you'll have. At this point, it's all about winning for us. You know, you're trying to achieve that goal, and the bond you create with your teammates is something that you'll never replace.